How about Emperor's Emerald or St. George Island? So we're gonna paint over that, get it all cleaned up, just make it look really nice.
We need this in order to lower the height.
This is worse than IKEA stuff.
Beautiful.
I have everything listed out. I've researched the best places to buy the ingredients that we need. Everything's perfect, we're all set up.
Like really through the skin and the fat?
Yes, more flour. More flour. Add in 6 tablespoons of water. Shape up with a fork. 2 days later, we got our ham. We just blew a fuse.
First Christmas dinner together.
It's amazing, 8 years and this is the first one.
Let's go, let's dig in.
Can you believe it? 2024 is coming to an end. And this year, so much has happened for us. If you've been watching our videos, you would know both good things and bad things have happened. Meaning we need our apartment here in Da Nang to feel a little bit more homey and more our style. When we moved in a little over a year ago, we really didn't do much decorating for 2 main reasons. The first one, we didn't plan on staying here that long because we planned on getting back on the road to travel around the rest of Vietnam. And then number 2, we actually wanted to keep the style minimum because we only signed a lease for 1 year, so we thought we would be moving out.
That's pretty true. Our house has been so plain, simple, and cold.
Exactly, and I think now it's a pretty great time to do all of the redecorating because we can also get ready for all the holidays.
Yeah, talking about the holiday season, we have Christmas, we have the World New Year, and also Lunar New Year.
Exactly. And it's pretty surprising because even though we've been together for so long, we've never actually celebrated those holidays properly together.
Yeah, properly is the key word.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be very interesting to do it all this time.
Because it's gonna be a very sweet combination between the Western style and the Asian style.
I don't think we're gonna go like too crazy with all the decorations and preparations for it. I think most of our main focus is going to be on the food.
Yeah.
So because Christmas dinner is so big, there's so much that I want him to try. We've only had a Christmas dinner together that I made one time, and it wasn't even that great, to be honest.
So the decoration is the first part in this video that we're gonna show you in order to make it better, in order to make it more cozy and festive. But then the cooking show that's gonna happen later in this video is going to be the main star. And Maddie is gonna tell me the style of the decoration that she would like to have, and also all of the recipes of the food that she would like to make as well for Christmas.
This is what our apartment currently looks like. It kind of feels cold, unwelcoming, and a little bit minimal, kind of like I said before. And there is so much that we really want to change in here. So let's first talk about the living area. So pretty much just for the living area, all we got is the couch, a lamp, a TV, and a little stand. All of this came with the apartment. So one of the first things that we actually want to do and change, and the biggest thing would be painting this entire wall. David and I haven't finalized the color of it yet. I'm trying to lean more towards like a light gray, while David has been going towards a darker gray and sometimes even like a little bit of a bolder color. He even suggested yellow at one point, and I was like, I'm not doing yellow, no way.
When we live in an apartment like this, it depends on how much light we have from the balcony from the nearby windows.
We get a lot of light.
Do we have a lot of light?
Yes, we have a lot of light. And then even with these, it gives off a lot of light, so.
Then we can go for some like really deep color, and it's gonna be a very good compensation for the white color, the plain white color that we have throughout our apartment.
I'm really wanting to go a different color now besides gray. I know I said gray before, but I want like a rich, bold color.
You know what, Maddie?
What?
This wall, the good thing about it is
We're hanging stuff on it.
we're hanging stuff on it. But second of all, the paint, the white paint itself is still very clear and fresh. Right? It does have some smear spots here and there, but rather than now this whole slab right here. It's basically recolored, repainted. I don't like it, but anyway. So you want something dark here?
Yes, a royal color.
A royal color? Are you talking about gold?
No, I'm talking, royal colors mean like deep, rich colors.
Yeah.
And I really do want to go like emerald, the emerald color.
So green.
Yeah, emerald green.
The big area from one ledge to another is
Yeah.
about 13 square meters.
Yeah.
But then if we want to paint the big wall in your office along with our bedroom, then I think it's gonna be another 10 to 12 square meters. Do you believe in astrological element? So my astrological element is earth or soil. So I'm good with brown or any earth and soil like colors. And yours is
Water.
water. So you're good with blue or white. Something like that.
These two here. There's St. George Island and Eleanor's Emerald.
Maybe something that's a little darker than that.
There's this one, Eleanor's Emerald. So I'm just trying to figure out which one would fit the best in our space. This color is pretty much close to the color that we have on our wall right now.
Yeah.
And then the lighting is a little bit similar, so we're just gonna try to do our best to guess. How about Emperor's Emerald or St. George Island?
I think the darker the better for me.
So then Eleanor's Emerald. Eleanor's Emerald is kind of like a muted color. And because we have a lot of bright furniture, bright hardwood floors, and then we got brown, I'm gonna say Eleanor's Emerald.
I think it's gonna be very interesting.
The wonders of life got the prettiest side for everyone to enjoy. Standing up close by the Christmas tree, glimmering light, I am right where I wanna be. I will be home for a couple of days, wander around with you. You and me in the cold, thought it'd never be true. Wherever I go, I got you. Oh, I have stopped running, there is no way trying. You better loosen your belts. Drinking hot wine by the fire, don't care of anything else. It's Christmas and some kind of love, my friend. I'll pray it will never end. Do you like to be here too? It's Christmas and outside snow's glistening. It's just you and me tonight. I'll spend all this Christmas with you. Oh, it's such a charm, got you up in my arms. There's nobody at the door. You said I wish this will never be over. Darling, it's time for your present. Come over here. Now it is time to get out in the snow, lighting a light with you. Choirs will sing and the joy bells will ring. Nobody loves you as much as I do. It's a wonderful feeling from floor to the ceiling. It is that time of the year, drinking hot wine by the fire. Here on our own, we got nothing to fear. It's Christmas.
All right, we have a worker over here being busy. Ignore him though, pretend he's not here. Okay, this is the next space, our bedroom. So for our bedroom, we're gonna actually be painting in here too. The reason we wanna paint this wall is because there's actually a lot of destruction and stains along the baseboard. I think it's just due to the fact that this place is very moist, and since they had the headboard leaning against this wall, I think a lot of mold had built up. So we're gonna paint over that, get it all cleaned up, just make it look really nice. I'm hoping to convince David that we can get a matching bed set. So sheets, pillowcases, all of that, just to make it really all connected in one piece. And then I'm thinking of getting a little nightstand right here. So this little nightstand is gonna hold all of my stuff, because right now you can see I have my little alien from Roswell. and then all of my cords just dangling out. So it would be really nice just to have a nightstand, just to be able to put everything away, make everything seem really clean and nice. Right here at the entrance, we're not gonna change too much. We might paint this wall just in order to cover up some of the damage that has happened at the bottom, where the paint has just chipped away and then there's some stains. And that is not from us. I promise you that's not from us. That is from the previous tenants. Yeah, I just really want to cover that up, get it all cleaned up and looking nice. And then we'll have a mirror hanging right here, a full body mirror too. Finally, I have been like wanting a full body mirror forever. And I'm like, where am I gonna look at myself? I need a full body mirror. So I convinced David that one has to go right here. And then we're just gonna put our nice little plant that is sitting right in the center of our home. He is gonna go over by the mirror. Let's move on to the next space, the dining area. This dining area is actually pretty large. It's taking up over half of the living space. And that's just kind of like how things worked out and how we decided to set it up. So what we plan on doing with this space actually is we're gonna get a very large and adjustable island, well, adjustable table. And we're doing this because we really want to make great quality cooking videos, but then also just an extra nice space.
So what Maddie has been talking about is this one, an adjustable table. We need this in order to lower the height so it can serve multiple purposes, right?
Exactly. I want to work on it as well since it can be a standing desk too. Well, it actually is originally a standing desk, so man, there are a lot of parts. Finally, something from Shopee that comes with instructions.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure everything's here, that way we're not missing anything before we start assembling, and then they'll be like, oh, well.
Let's put everything together.
Yeah, so we start with A and B. Oh, get the other one, David. Look it has these two parts here. So that's B right there. You just set B down. Well, why does it say K? Because K is the tabletop. But then it says front here,
Yeah.
but then it's going upside down.
Yeah.
This is worse than IKEA stuff.
This table is coming from a very good brand.
Yeah, but at least IKEA comes with at least a little bit better instructions. I don't think this can ever be like a one-person job. Hey, babe. You're doing it the right way.
Maddie,
What?
stop being weird.
We'll just put this tabletop on first?
Yeah, just see how it is.
Okay.
But no, we're not gonna use this round tabletop for cooking. We're gonna save it. Maybe in the future we're gonna turn this adjustable table into a working desk.
And then next, we're gonna try to replace the tabletop for this table. This table came with the apartment and it actually has a lot of stains. There's nail polish, some other glue stains, and these are not from us. So we just want something a little nicer to set on top of this table to kind of hide that and just make it a little bit more us. So we plan on having this island to take up most of the space right here, and we're gonna set it that way we have shelving at the back to really just complement the space. And on that shelving, we're gonna put a little bit of the decorations, maybe some spices, some other containers, just to really kind of spruce things up and decorate it a little better, make it homey and cozy. And the next space, we're still in the dining area, is this here. So this is where we have been keeping all of our appliances, like our rice cooker, our air fryer, and our grill. And what it's sitting on top of is actually the other half of our TV stand. And we only did this because we just didn't want to buy more furniture that we might have to sell later on. So what I actually want to get done with this space is put a large, tall shelf, and I'm hoping it goes probably just below the AC unit. And that way we just have a lot more space to store stuff. We can actually put the rice cooker, the air fryer, and the grill all within that shelf, and then just add in some extra little decorations to really make this space feel like it's ours.
That is a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna do my bedroom today anyway. Lasted all night last night.
Now that we have more lighting, we can see some of the rough patches that we didn't do a very good job on last night. Come on, Marty, come on. I did a pretty decent job too. Granted that yours was better, but
I'll give you a gold star.
she was so bitter about me telling her to go a little faster with the brush and the roller.
So I let him do what he wanted, and then we ended up with patchy work. So who's gonna listen to the wife next time?
I'll listen to you next time. I always listen to you.
The next thing that we want to do in this space is actually just get a very large and beautiful framed picture to sit above the couch. I think that will really just brighten up the space, make it feel a little bit more homey and cozy, which is something that we really want to do.
To wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Merry Christmas Day. A Merry Christmas Day. Oh, yeah.
The last little thing within the living room is this blank wall here right next to the TV. Right under the TV we have our rice because that was the only place that it fit. So we're gonna fix this little area, actually put the TV stand back together because the other half of the TV stand is over there with all of our appliances on it. Our rice cooker and our air fryer. So we're gonna put that back together. For this blank wall, this big blank wall right here, we're gonna actually have a growing wall, and I'm really excited about that. We're trying to figure out what plants that we're gonna have hanging, and I'm thinking I'm gonna have hanging plants dangling down to the bottom. But David had the other idea of having a plant sitting at the bottom and then like climbing its way up the wall, but I don't think so. I think we're gonna have a plant hanging from the top and dangling down.
I think you did a very good job on choosing the picture for this wall, babe.
Thanks.
And so having the flowers here, we have some white and also pink cherry blossoms, along with all of the mountaintops in the backdrop. It's just perfect. Wow, you look great. So we're now very ready to get out of our home to go around to see what the Christmas vibe feels like right now. It's almost 10 o'clock and I think a lot of the activities are now kind of or somewhat over.
Most of it only goes until 10 o'clock, and we have stuff to do until almost 9, so I don't think we could do any of these really.
Beautiful.
The closer that I look at the reindeer, the
Yeah.
more they look like dinosaurs.
It's so nice though. The other side has the same thing.
Well, we got a Santa Claus over there. See, look at dinosaur nose.
Potent Christmas vibe.
I love it.
Yeah. It's good. They did a great job decorating.
All right, we are here at a rice paper place because Maddie said she was hungry.
Yes, I've been really wanting it for so long since I got back.
That is all yours.
Are they the same or did you get two different ones?
The same.
Okay.
Anh cảm ơn. Yeah.
I miss you so much.
These places aren't where we frequent because for all the snacks like this, I know that Marty craves them from time to time. And my goal is to be able to make them at home so that we know what goes in these dishes. How's everything going with the cooking, planning, and whatnot?
I have everything listed out. I've researched the best places to buy the ingredients that we need because some of the ingredients are actually pretty hard to find because they're actually imports to Vietnam. So we're gonna have to go to quite a few places. Everything's planned out. It should be easy.
Your hat, sir. Everything's perfect. We're all set up. What?
I don't know how to wear it. I'm just being a little baby about it, okay?
Too small for your head?
Too small for my melon.
The Santa hat suits you. I like it.
All right. So a little disclosure. I don't have any shirt that could fit the vibe of the holiday Christmas. So she lent me this shirt that she wore the other day. I say in the same video, I think.
Yeah, it was. But you know what? It's festive enough and I would have worn it, but two reasons I didn't. One, it is too hot, and two, I am a very dirty person.
It's okay. You don't have to go into the detail of it, all right?
Fine.
Now, what are we gonna do?
Okay, so first of all, we're in our new kitchen setup, which I am loving so far, and this is gonna be the first test that we have for it, and I can't wait to see how this works and how well we can work in this small little space right here, but I think we can do well. So the goal today is to get the ham brining and then most of the baking done because the baking is gonna take the longest time for this whole Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
So what I want to bake first is the bread, so the Hawaiian sweet rolls.
Hawaiian what roll?
Hawaiian sweet rolls.
Hawaiian sweet rolls. Okay.
They're a little bit sweet, they're very fluffy and tasty, and I haven't seen them here, so I was like, you know what, why don't we try and make them? So we're gonna actually try to make those today, along with pumpkin pie and oatmeal cookies.
Ooh, pumpkin pies.
I know, but the pumpkin pie is gonna be a little different, but you'll see why later. So first things first, I actually wanna get the ham brining because it is gonna take 2 days for the ham to brine. So first, what I needed to do,
Yeah.
score the ham. So make crisscross marks on it.
I see. All right. Like how big though? Oh.
A knuckle for square. So square, square, square. Just guesstimate. So for the ham, there were a bunch of ingredients that were required to brine, but I was like, we can't find all of those ingredients. It called for pickling spice, coriander, and a few other things, but I couldn't find that at all. So I was like, okay, I'll just guess what I can get and then hope it comes out correctly. You're gonna wanna go deeper.
A little deeper.
Yeah.
Like really through the skin and the fat?
Yes. Yeah, kind of go into the meat itself too. You want the flavor to kind of really soak in, so you're gonna wanna score it as far as you can.
Okay.
Yeah, right there.
I touched the bone.
Okay, that's good. I'm also guesstimating on a lot of the measurements because we got a smaller cut of meat compared to what one of the recipes required. This is all just going by instinct, okay? All the ingredients required to brine the ham are some cloves, brown sugar, star anise, I got ground cinnamon instead of a cinnamon stick, pepper, I might use a little bit of nutmeg depending on how it smells. I'm gonna sniff it first before I put it in. And then since I didn't have the pickling spice, I grabbed some 5-spice powder. And then I got ginger root, and we're gonna need a little bit of salt and water to brine the ham properly. MSG.
Huh? Are we gonna use MSG too?
We might use a little bit, kind of depending on how I'm feeling.
You're the boss?
Yeah. After you're done with that, I might need you to cut the ginger. Actually, I can do it.
Yeah, I'm here to help, not here to like do the whole thing, alright? That's good, right?
Yeah.
But
Are
hey,
you
Maddie.
sure? What?
So you're gonna spend a lot of time before Christmas to prepare all the meals and cooking with your family like this?
We usually do it like the night before, depending on what we're having. So my family and I, for Christmas, we would do a potluck style thing. Everyone would make their own dishes. Some people would concentrate on the ham, the turkey, and then desserts, so on and so forth.
Right.
And for the desserts, they usually take a long time. So we do it like the day or 2 days before.
Hold on for a second. So Christmas dinner or Christmas meal,
Mm-hmm.
is it about the savory dish or is it about all of the desserts?
Everything. Everything.
Okay.
Yeah. For us, desserts were a pretty big thing though. I loved all of the desserts everyone would bring. We would have cookies, sometimes truffles. There were pies. My favorite was always the pecan pie. Like, pecan pie is the best.
Pecan pies.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also my grandma's favorite too. All right, put the ham in the bin.
Okay.
And everything is already washed, okay? I washed everything beforehand, carefully.
I can
I'm
cut
gonna-
the ginger too. So the ginger, is it gonna be chopped and thrown in here too?
Yeah.
Okay, then I can use the same thing, right?
Go for it.
So how do you want to cut?
Thinly slice it. For the brine, we're gonna use 2 whole star anise. I was only supposed to use 2 star anise, but I like the smell of it, so I threw in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and toss in the ginger.
Okay. This is good? Okay.
I was supposed to use a whole cinnamon stick broken in half, but I'm not doing that, so.
You're not very sure about the amounts?
Nope.
I can see that you have like a computer setup over there too.
Yeah, I'm hiding it over in the back because I need to keep looking at the recipe.
Now the cloves. I see.
Yeah. How much sugar did I need? 2 cups brown sugar. Okay.
2 cups. Okay.
The recipe that I'm using, it called for 3 kilograms of meat, but we only got how much? 1.5. Okay, I'm tossing in 2 tablespoons of salt. I just hope that it's good.
Wow, that is a lot of salt and sugar.
You're brining it. You're gonna I'm probably gonna take it all out anyway.
right.
This is boiling hot water. I'm just using it to help dissolve.
Oh, it smells so good.
You can thank the star anise.
Yeah, starting to use and also ginger.
Yeah. And 5 spice powder. And cinnamon. Okay.
Like done, not done. Finished, not finished.
All right. Fill the rest of it up with water
Sure.
until it's covered.
Yes, ma'am. Oh yeah, by the way, we're only gonna use some bottled water to cook because we don't trust tap water here in Vietnam.
No, more.
More?
Completely covered.
I see.
So once the ham is done, this is gonna sit in the refrigerator for 2 days.
Really?
So it's gonna soak up all of the flavor, give it that saltiness and sweetness.
I think it's good enough.
It was supposed to be a honey Dijon mustard glaze, but we couldn't find any Dijon mustard here, so let that one go. And I wasn't gonna get regular mustard because we were never gonna eat regular mustard again. I despise it. So I was like, nah. Smells good, looks good. Throw on the lid.
Really? But I think you have to mix it all up a little bit more, right?
While you're doing that, I'm gonna pull up the list for the Hawaiian sweet rolls.
Yes, please. Hey, Maddie.
Wow.
This is actually all new to me. Like, I've never soaked anything in a big container like this for 2 days, being in the fridge, and
neither.
then cooking it after.
Yeah, I haven't either. So I have no idea. We usually buy the ham prepared.
Yeah.
Okay, you're being too rough. Look at the
Okay.
cubes. They're falling off.
Right.
Just leave it.
Yeah.
When you come back, bring a big bowl for mixing.
Mixing the dough?
Yep, mixing the dough. But actually, before I start the Hawaiian sweet rolls, I'm actually gonna get the pumpkin puree going because I wanna be able to have the oven free when I need it for the sweet rolls. And this just makes everything go faster. All right, so we're gonna make pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
Yeah, well, we're gonna actually start the pumpkin to go in the oven because we have to make a pumpkin puree first because we couldn't find any pumpkin puree or canned pumpkin at the store.
Pumpkin puree what?
Pumpkin puree. It's just blended pumpkin.
Pumpkin puree.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I couldn't find any of it. And then the other problem was when we went to the store, I couldn't find any pie pumpkins either. So it's a small orange pumpkin, okay?
Yeah. And long story short, but this is
a funny piece. I thought the kabocha squash is a type of pumpkin. Turns out it is not. Pumpkin pies? Never had it before.
That's a lie. You had it at Carrie and Aries.
I could have sworn you did.
Carrie and Neri never made it. And by the way, Carrie and Neri are my Canadian homestay mom and dad.
Yeah. Okay, so you never had it?
No, I never.
Okay,
had
well,
it.
you're never gonna have a traditional pumpkin pie either because this is all we got.
No, it's all good because like I think squashes in general hold the same taste, so we're good. For me, okay.
For you.
It's not the time to argue just because we don't have the ingredients for now. Just get straight into the doing and make it.
Just have to cut this in half. So my plan for the squash is I'm just gonna throw it in the oven and let it kind of caramelize, but then also get mushy so I can quickly just mash it for the pie. I want it to caramelize because I think the caramelization will help bring out the sweetness on the top of it because I've made a lot of squash in this little oven here. And whenever it browns on the top, it tastes a little bit sweeter. So I think that'll help add an extra depth of flavor to the pie when we do make it. So I'm gonna throw it in here, let it brown a little bit on the top before I blend it up for the pies.
Oh.
Strong arm it.
Yeah, I think I need this. I'm sorry, but it's not even.
That's fine. I'm not gonna
Fine.
get. You know what? Actually, I'm very mad at you
Why?
because it's not even.
Don't be frustrated. This facade, everything looks even.
Okay.
Except for this facade. You see, one big, one small.
And then it's just gonna go in the oven. So I turn the oven down to 200 degrees Celsius and then I'm just gonna toss it in and keep an eye on it. Maybe throw in a little bit of water once the browning starts to get really good on the top. That kind of fits. And let that go for a while. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually start the sweet Hawaiian rolls.
Yes!
This is gonna take a lot of work and I really hope that you're ready.
I thought bread is the easiest thing on earth to make. All you need to do is to make the dough, mix it all in, and then bake it.
My home ec teacher from high school always said that whenever she's angry, she would make bread dough because you can be rough with it, you can pound it, do everything, take out your anger. You're just mad because I did that to you earlier.
Yeah.
At our market, we didn't have dry active yeast. This is actually instant yeast. So the difference between dry active yeast and instant yeast is for dry active yeast, to activate it, you have to pour it in a little bit of warm water, sugar, and that way it'll start to proof and make bubbles. Instant yeast, like what we have, you just mix it with the dry ingredients and you don't have to activate it.
We went through the entire store yesterday. Da Nang's version of Costco and Hong Kong market, like an Asian type of market in Canada combined. So we went through the entire grocery store in order to find this.
We are going to start the dough. So I'm moving this out of the way because we don't need this anymore. To start this, we're gonna mix the dry ingredients first. So for the dry ingredients, we need, how much flour?
We need the computer.
3 to 4 cups of flour. Oh, the scissors are right there. I was about to ask you to go get the scissors. I'm so used to not having the scissors right here. Okay,
First time using this kitchen space anyway.
yeah, exactly. So I'm just gonna add 3 cups of flour first. I know this is not how you're supposed to measure out flour, and I'm sorry, but we don't have the right measuring cups. Come on, squeeze it. This is the first time I've actually ever seen instant yeast. For both active and instant yeast, you just use a 1-to-1 ratio, so it's not too different. And this recipe is calling for 2 1/4 teaspoon. We do not have teaspoons, we only have tablespoons. And I know 1 tablespoon equals 3 teaspoons. So I'm just gonna fill it up halfway. So we'll call that good for the yeast. I really do hope that this comes out right. So we need a 1/2 cup of sugar. All right, how angry are you?
Angry, hungry, so I'm extremely hangry now.
Oh my gosh.
But this is not delightful after you told me that it's gonna take us a few days.
Well, the only reason I was asking how angry are you is because we have to knead this by hand for almost 10 minutes.
I can do it.
You don't have to sit there and stir it for 10 minutes. I'm not even done.
Oh, okay.
I think it has to have some kind of liquid inside.
Yes, and we also have to have butter. I know you're usually supposed to mix like the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients separately, but I don't feel like doing that. And it also says here that we can mix it after. So 1 cup pineapple juice.
Are you done with the pineapple juice?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you just took a swig of it.
No.
Animal.
I have my own tea. You made me this tea.
1 teaspoon salt. You want to know a little trick?
Hmm?
For salt, if you have a little teaspoon, it just fills up the tiny little hole in your palm. Well, it's not hole, but like crater. Thank you, home ec class. Now we're gonna mix this up.
Okay, I'll do that. The man of muscles.
You say that now, but just wait until you get like really mixing it.
I've been doing worse, okay?
You have to knead it for 10 minutes by hand.
But I feel like this is a little too little for the 2 of us.
It's gonna proof. So proofing means it gets bigger.
So I expand.
Yeah. You're gonna have to start using your hand soon. Yeah.
My hand,
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm gonna start a timer for 10 minutes. It smells good, doesn't it?
it smells just like one of those store-bought cookies. Right?
It kind of does. Smells like a sugar cookie.
Yeah.
Although there's pineapple juice in it. I wash my hands, get out of the way.
Yeah.
This is the point where you have to start using your hands or a stand mixer.
Yeah. Oh, but we don't have that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And this dough is way too wet. This is why I said like 3 to 4 cups of flour. More flour. More flour.
I thought you wanted me to sniff.
Okay, stop.
At this point, the ears are not working anymore. The eyes and the mouth want to speak a little bit louder, you know what I'm saying?
I know. It's okay. This is also the first time that I am making bread.
This is also the first time that I am seeing somebody making bread.
You're helping. Oh man, that butter, as it melts, it smells really good.
Yeah.
Okay, more flour. Just a little bit.
More flour.
Stop.
Do you want me to go wash my hands and do that? Because I think I have more muscles. Okay, I'll do it.
No, it's fine. My hands are, look at this. My hands are already terrible. Are you just excited to get your hands in here? Is that what it is?
No.
That sounds like a yes.
I want to help you. Okay, give it to the man.
Hold on. You really, okay, scrape it off my hands first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Help me with this. Yeah.
No, it's fine. Eventually the dough shouldn't stick to your hand anymore. That's the goal. So the reason we need the dough is to activate the yeast. They probably already know that, I know you don't. Or the gluten, activate the gluten.
Underestimation from you.
Did you know it?
Unacceptable.
Okay, did you know it?
Of course.
Okay.
Give me one night. Hey babe,
Yeah.
if I'm not a fan of bread, right? Or sweet things, how do you expect me to actually know what goes into the process of cooking them or baking them?
Yeah, I know. Now you're ready to move it to the table.
Not really. It's still very sticky. I hate the stickiness of this thing. I want to get this hand involved so badly, but then I know I can't.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
I know I shouldn't.
Time is up.
Why do we have to stick with the timer?
Because if you overmix the dough, it makes it taste gross. Is it still sticking to your hand?
Yeah, it is. Right here.
Okay then. Use your other hand to try and help get it off.
Yeah, I think
Having fun? Does this remind you of kindergarten when you would play with Play-Doh?
with clay.
You guys had clay instead of Play-Doh?
Mm.
And yet he said he wants to make bread regularly. Are you having fun?
For a newbie like me to making bread, it's fine. I think this is just the beginning.
It is just the beginning.
Of an end.
Well, look at the bag that we have of instant yeast. We have to use all of that.
Okay, we have to like delegate equally between the 2 of us
Yeah.
to make bread, okay?
Okay. That's
So you'll make it Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and all of the other holidays.
After you're done with mixing that, it has to sit for an hour.
And why do we have to let it sit for 1 hour?
Because the yeast needs to work. That's it. It helps
put air into the bread and make it poofy.
I do feel like you're really knowledgeable and gifted to do this, babe. I'm glad I'm making this with you.
And not by yourself.
I won't do it any other way. Look at this. No longer sticky.
Do we have the oil here?
Yeah, right here.
Okay. Pick it back up actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's gonna double in size, and as it grows, I just don't want it to stick too much to the thing. All right, now we need to cover this with a towel, wait for it to proof, and then we'll come back, divide it up, and bake it.
Sounds good to me.
I'm ready for a nap.
Me too. So we've been waiting for 1 hour just for the dough to wet. Truth.
So the dough is done. Open it up. Does it look like it's 2 times the size to you?
Slightly bigger, but it's not like twice as big.
But if you press your finger in, it bounces back.
Oh, really?
Don't press it so dang hard. But hey, if you press it just a little bit, okay? You see it bouncing back a little bit, the air coming back in? It's good. We're gonna have a second proof for it anyway, so I'm not too worried about it.
All right. So what is the next step?
All right, you divide this and put it into this. I am going to start the pie because I want this to go fast. This dough is gonna make 12 pieces, so divide it into 12. Right now, we'll only bake 4.
Oh, so we have 4 containers right now and this much dough. And I think it's gonna be just enough to put in these containers.
Well, the thing is these are supposed to be bread rolls. So, you know, like a roll is supposed to sit on a cookie sheet to bake.
Yeah.
So we have a big baking sheet and then they'll be each 12 separate, right? But I mean, we don't have that kind of thing. So all we have is these. And I was like, okay, well, maybe we can fit these in there
Yeah.
and bake it. So try to divide it up as evenly as possible between these 4, I guess. See what you can do. Shape it into a ball.
Yeah.
Then put it in here, or kind of like a half log.
Okay.
You don't have to make 12 balls, just make 4.
I know. But then as you said, I gotta do it evenly, so. This one seems to be a little smaller than the other. Good, now.
Just lightly oil it, okay?
Right.
You know, if we do a good job with these bread rolls, I'll make pumpkin rolls next.
This could have been done a lot more nicely if you had a brush.
Usually people just use spray.
The kitchen is new. Today's the first day we started using it, so we still need to buy a lot of other things, tools, and gadgets. Ah, it smells good.
The squash or the bread, or both.
Both. I feel like I'm at the back of a bakery, you know? I think I've done a pretty decent job.
Cool.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Now we're gonna let that proof for another hour.
Another hour.
Yep.
Another hour it is.
So go sit it over there and put the towel back over top of it.
I see. Okay. So they're just gonna be here.
Sure. Fine too.
Okay.
Try not to let it touch.
It is not touching.
I'll set another timer for an hour.
I'll do it. So what are we gonna have to do for the pumpkin puree?
So what I'm doing right now is I'm peeling off the skin that I created, dropping it in because it's gonna add more flavor from the caramelization. I didn't put any oil on it either. And then I'm gonna blend it up, not put any spices in it, because if we wanna use this later on for any pumpkin bread,
Yeah.
or any kind of like squash bread, because I keep calling it pumpkin bread, but it's not pumpkin, it's squash bread. You don't want any of the spices in it. So I'm just gonna blend the whole thing up and we'll save whatever we don't use.
Okay.
And there we go. We got our squash puree. Actually smells really good. All right, I only need 1 cup of this for the recipe, and then I'm gonna save everything else. Can you give me another container?
Yeah.
Thank you, my little sous chef. Yesterday while we were at the grocery store, I was trying to find frozen pie crust, but I couldn't find any. And then I was like, okay, you know what? Pumpkin pie might go great with graham cracker crust because I didn't want to do a lot of dough today, but that also was not an option. So now we're just gonna have to make our own little pie crust. I don't know how I feel about that. I hate rolling out dough. If I could avoid rolling dough, I would do so. but that's not an option for this recipe. David, you feel like rolling dough?
Roll it. Yeah, why not?
Okay, good, because I don't feel like it. It's plain, there's no salt, no nothing.
Just like sweet potato, you know? Grilled sweet potato.
Maybe we should do a sweet potato thing.
At this point, she just wants to do everything.
I'm talking about bread though. There's a sweet potato bread, you can do pumpkin, zucchini bread.
I don't know, you've been calling me sous chef.
Because you're my sidekick.
I've been your sidekick.
Yeah. And then like when it comes to Lunar New Year and making food for Lunar New Year, I'll be your sidekick.
Not really, because it's a new territory for me too.
You think I know all of this? Well, I guess with the bread I did, kind of.
Yeah. I think at this rate, because we tasted it before, so we now know what to expect.
I really can't wait until we start making the food that we tasted in the north. Like, man, I'm so excited. So now that that's done, we can get this out of the way.
Yep.
Those are dirty dishes.
Okay.
I'll start mixing up the pie filling. So it called for 1 cup. Oh, it's only a half a cup of pumpkin puree. I feel like a half cup of pumpkin puree isn't enough for pie filling, so I'm just gonna go for a full cup. 4 tablespoons butter. The butter's in the fridge.
Okay, I'll go get it.
I'm sorry. Man,
I can mix it.
Okay, yeah, mix that. I gotta measure out flour
Yeah.
and sugar.
What's going on?
I'm not eating spices. This is what really adds the flavor to it. Nutmeg.
Nutmeg.
You don't want a lot of this one because it's such a strong flavor and it's ground. I'm gonna grind up the cloves. I told you I didn't need the blender anymore. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. I was wrong about not needing this. First time is a mess. That's okay.
No, first time is a juggling section. Next time, you'll juggle better.
I know it doesn't call for any star anise, but I can't help it. We're just gonna go on.
So, the real recipe found online with a little bit of your intuition.
Oh yeah, because I like the smell of star anise.
Okay.
It reminds me of the holidays.
Ooh, smoke coming out. Oh, smells good. I think I mixed it very well, babe.
Okay, don't worry, you'll have more to mix.
Ooh. Now our space smells like an Ethiopian restaurant.
A little bit, yeah.
Right?
So 1 egg. In you go. This recipe called for light brown sugar, but I don't have that, so we're just gonna go dark brown sugar.
Getting better?
Yeah, it's getting better. It's fine, actually. The filling is fine now. I just don't know if that's gonna be enough. Let's make the pie crust, and then we'll see if we need more pie filling. All right, concentrate on this now. You're done mixing. You're done mixing.
Okay. Google again.
Oh yeah, I should put a little bit of salt in there. I didn't put any salt. The recipe didn't call for any salt this time, which was really odd. We're making the pie crust.
The constipated flour bag.
I need 1.5 cups. Okay, stop. That's good.
That's good.
1.5 cups.
When you get sick and tired of measuring.
You call it 1 spoon?
It's supposed to be a tablespoon.
Okay.
It looked like it was a tablespoon. I'll do it this time.
No.
Oh, you want to do it? Okay.
Just put the next thing in.
You gotta wait until the butter is mixed in.
Okay.
And yes, it has to be cold and flaky.
Really?
Yeah, just mash it, just like that. I'm gonna actually make more pie filling. So scoot over that way.
All right. Honestly, at first, it smells like fire.
Really?
Yeah. But then, just a second after, it smells so good.
What, the pie?
Yeah, the pumpkin.
I know.
Not the pumpkin, but the squash.
Just keep calling it pumpkin.
Just for the sake of this dish, right?
Yeah.
Hey, babe.
What?
Does any of this cooking make you feel better?
Yeah, it does.
I can actually recall every single Christmas when you miss home.
Oh my god. Yeah.
You'll be like taking a day or 2 off mentally to watch some of the Christmas movies, scroll through your photos.
I know. I still scroll through photos.
I'm glad this year we have this opportunity to make all of the cooking and all the decoration happen. So you feel better.
I feel a lot better now. Honestly, it's been a rough couple of weeks. Rough month.
You're such a babe.
Knows everything about the way.
The wood knows everything about you too.
Add in 6 tablespoons of water.
Can you hold the table? It's hard.
Hold the table.
Oh no, actually it's the tablespoon.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Because he spilled some in there.
Yeah.
It'll turn into a ball. Add more water if it doesn't. 3 more minutes until we have to bake the bread.
1 hour has passed?
Yes, I'm not even kidding.
My goodness. Time flies.
When you're having fun or when you're working too hard.
No. When you're working too hard, 1 hour seems to be 1 year. Or 10. Now it's a ball.
Now your job is to roll it out. And then roll it thin enough, make a thin crust, and line this pan. First, that pan will have to be lined with oil though after you roll it. Use a rolling pin. Here you go.
Right.
I'm so sorry to say this.
No buts. Take it, okay? I'm doing what I'm doing. Please.
No, I'm not thinking you're making a mess. It reminds me of when we were children and then our parents would be like, yep, you're doing it right, and then you're doing it completely wrong.
So you're comparing me with your 5-year-old version.
Yes.
Come on, Maddie. I'm better than that.
Try to make it into a square.
A square?
Yes.
So only 1 crust, right?
Yes, only 1 crust. I liked how I was following the recipe to a T, and then after I did it once, I'm just kind of going with whatever now.
Why did you look at me like that?
And look at you in any way.
You're making me self-conscious, you know? Come on. Yes. Not the best, but I think for the first time, making the crust,
Good job.
right?
Yes, I agree. No, we'll have to do the buns then in there,
Yeah.
and then that's will have to go in there.
Yes.
They haven't really proofed though. I mean, like they're a little bigger. Do they look slightly bigger to you?
They do look a little bit bigger.
Do you want the top to be glossy? Yeah, the tops are supposed to be glossy. Let's take this. This is the time where I really wish we had a brush, but now we just have to use our fingers. My fingers are clean, your fingers are clean.
Use yours.
On their buns.
Done with oil.
This feels like a crime. You grow up, you're like, don't stick your fingers in the food, but we don't have the right material. Now that my hands are thoroughly nasty. Oh, only 2 will fit in at a time. Just toss it. All right, now we wait for that to cook a little bit.
Yeah.
And while we're waiting, clean up. This is the one part that I hate about cooking is the cleaning.
Don't say that. I think it's fun.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. To do it with your love.
This pie crust will cook for a little bit. And then once it's done cooking, I'm gonna add in the pie filling. This has to wait 30 minutes for the buns, and then I gotta throw this in there. And then after all of this is done cooking, we'll do the cookies.
I'm excited.
You're excited for cookies?
Yeah.
They're oatmeal raisin cookies.
I've been having a sweet tooth.
Me too. It didn't take very long for the pie crust to go. It pretty much done with the baking part for it. So I'm gonna throw in the pie filling and then watch it for the next little while to see how everything cooks up. Hopefully, this is the first time that I've used like a pie filling like this. I don't know how well it's gonna hold up. This is good for now. Now I'll toss it back into the oven and let it cook. Finally, all the baking part well, not all the baking part is done yet. We still have one last thing to do, which is the cookies, but I don't know if we'll get to it tonight fully or not. We'll see. Okay, first we'll concentrate on this and we'll taste test to see if we have to change anything before Christmas dinner actually happens.
Okay.
All right, first one. Smell this.
Clove,
You're only
cinnamon.
saying it because you know it's in there.
I know, but those smells are so potent that you can't ignore. That's what it is.
All right, so we'll cut into the pumpkin pie first. It's a little bit burnt on the edges and then not so much done on the inside.
Too much talking. Just get straight into the cutting and the tasting because I'm like hungry.
Okay, give me the plate.
Okay, here.
Wow,
Yay.
we're gonna get two, one for each person.
Yeah.
Hey, we gotta share that plate. Bring it back. There we go.
Wow. Looks great.
Aw, it's still doughy at the bottom. I guess I should have cooked it longer, but I didn't want to.
Okay, so we're gonna taste the pie first.
Let's dig in. I can't wait anymore.
Yeah, so the bottom of the crust, I didn't cook it long enough. So it should still be fine though. Yeah.
Really soft. It is really soft. And the bottom part, even though it's not that firmly cooked,
Yeah,
it has that gooey texture, you know?
I know what you mean, yeah. I'm surprised at how well the squash actually tastes in a pumpkin pie. This tastes like a pumpkin pie, like a homemade pumpkin pie.
The sweetness of this cake is just outstanding. It's just at the right level. I'm not just like flattering you or trying to flatter you at all, babe. I think this is really, really good to have from time to time, especially when you have it with tea.
All right, try the edge of the crust now. The crust that you helped make.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty good crust. It's crunchy, flaky, buttery.
A little salty, right? Not too much.
No. Gave up with the fork. Good. It kind of hits the spot right now.
It's satisfying my sweet tooth.
Speaking of sweet tooth, you usually don't have a sweet tooth.
No,
So how is this for you?
Because tonight we haven't had anything like substantial. We've been working on this,
Yeah.
and then now having it, I think my brain is just being satisfied.
I can really taste all the spices that I put in with the clove. And I think the star anise was a good add, at least in my opinion. I know the recipe didn't call for it, but the star anise does add like an extra warmth to it. So for the bread, I think we over kneaded it because if you look at this, it's not very airy or fluffy.
Can you see?
Yeah. And then it's really dense,
Oh,
right? The denseness of it. So I think we just overdone with the kneading. Yeah.
but you told me that the yeast is supposed to make it a little porous.
It did, but because we over mixed it with the flour,
Yeah.
when you overwork flour, right, you work in the gluten, and that's couldn't wait. I know it smells good, doesn't it? But when you overwork the gluten, it just makes the bread more dense and less airy. So the yeast did its job partly, it was just the gluten. All right, I smell the pineapple. Let's see if it tastes similar to the sweet Hawaiian rolls that I had back home during Christmas.
You have it all the time, like for all Christmas?
The taste is there. It's pretty good. You like it?
I do.
How about the sweetness of it?
Perfect.
Really?
It's not that sweet. And I don't like very, very sweet stuff. So this is good.
It looks so cute though. Like the bottom part of grilled chicken.
They're so easy to pop out too. Press the bottom of it. That's how you tell if it's like done.
Really? It's still like a little sticky at the bottom though.
It's just because it's the oil.
It is good, Nani.
Good choice of food.
And honestly, I am in love with the store.
I definitely want to go back there and like just snoop around and see what we can find.
Same idea. I just love taken some time off just to go in that store.
There was a lot of foreigners there too, because they had that really nice like import section from a lot of countries, European, Asian, and then yeah, just pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. You're used to going to Costco or Superstore in North America. The store is definitely resembling that. Brown sugar, oats, flour, salt, baking soda, pure honey.
I only used the honey because we couldn't get vanilla extract.
Okay. Raisins, nutmeg, and the last one, cinnamon powder. Oh, sugar too. Okay. Okay, let's do it.
1 cup flour. They say baking is supposed to be an exact science, right? And I believe it. No more.
You believe it?
I do. But right now, I hope that, it's not true.
You believe it, that's good, that's one thing, but then not being good at it is another.
Well, because we don't have all of the stuff to measure it out. Right? And so that's why I'm saying I hope it's not true. Because they're half a 1/4 teaspoon, a 1/4 of a cup. And I'm like, we don't have those things. So I'm just eyeballing it. 1 cup raisins.
Yeah.
Where's my tiny teaspoon?
Um,
No, it's okay.
it's okay.
Doesn't matter.
First you put in the flour, second the oats, third the raisins, and now what?
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon powder, okay. 1 teaspoon. So nutmeg is the 5th thing.
The recipe doesn't call for nutmeg, but I'm just like, you know what? We got it. Might as well use it. And plus, it was expensive. How much sugar did I need?
You figure it out?
Half cup. If we're gonna be baking like this all the time, we really need to get proper measuring cups
Yeah.
and decide whether we're using imperial or metric, because this is getting crazy.
That's good.
Need more.
More?
So the dark brown sugar is gonna give the oatmeal cookies the flavor. You're my little mixing boy today.
Happy to be useful. Cause I don't know nothing here.
It's okay. You're still loved.
Don't pretend like you know either. You've been using and relying heavily on your computer.
Well, because I have to.
After the brown sugar is the white sugar. Half a cup as well. Baking soda. What? That's it? Use this. That's it?
Yes. 1/4 of a teaspoon, and I think that's a 1/4.
It's like nothing.
I know, but it helps rise the cookies.
Salt? Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
And it's a lot easier to use this than that, because that's a tablespoon.
It's all based entirely on her intuition. That is really dangerous, babe. I'll do it. You got it? I'm just afraid that you're gonna cut yourself.
Yeah, just wait a few minutes. We'll put this in the microwave. And don't melt it all the way, just soften it. 30 seconds at a time.
Somebody is getting really good at this.
You trying to soften me up? Why does it feel like something's missing though?
Honey?
I need to put the honey in.
Water?
No, it doesn't say water or anything.
Take back your plate. 1 egg.
Yeah, that's all the ingredients that it's supposed to be.
I guess it's working.
Well, I guess because you're melting the butter with your hands. All right, let's put it in the fridge.
For 30 minutes?
Yeah, I'll
Recipe.
set a timer. More cleaning, more waiting. So 30 minutes for the cookies to sit in the fridge, and then they're only gonna take about 15 minutes to cook, so that's not bad at all. Okay. Roll up your sleeves.
What do you do?
One is oiled. There we go.
Make balls?
Yep, make balls. And you know what, just have fun. We are now gonna put it in the oven. And 12 minutes for each single tray. Just look at it. I've never made oatmeal cookies before, so I don't know if these are even right. They're still really squishy.
And then all of the raisins are already like apart.
Well, the raisins expanded in the oven. They were like exploded.
good though.
Yeah.
Super gooey.
Oh,
Gentle. The brown sugar really does give it all the sweetness.
yeah.
What's that face for? You don't like it? Too sweet?
I don't know. I've never eaten any oat cookies before, so I'm just looking at you to see like how everything is.
I like it. And even though we don't have the vanilla in here, I don't miss it. Especially with the extra dark brown sugar along with the honey. And then I think the extra cinnamon I threw in here along with the nutmeg, I don't need the vanilla. It's good. Very sweet though, isn't it?
If all of the previous ones were good to me, this one is not my cup of tea. I'm sorry, babe. First of all, it's sweet. Second of all, I think it's a little too thick. So if we can somehow thin it out a little bit more, and the raisins are not like burned or falling apart like this, I think everything is gonna be a lot better.
Dude, I love this one because it's so squishy and gooey. I don't like the crunchy cookies.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Then the lack of experience really speaks up right now.
It's okay. The other reason it could have puffed up a lot is because I didn't measure out the baking soda properly. And the baking soda is kind of like a leveling agent.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up tonight's cooking. And this is the last dish that we are showing you guys.
Yeah.
We have to wait for 2 days for all of the other half to start or to happen.
It's gonna go pretty fast for the other half because it's just the ham, mashed potatoes, beans, and then some roasted vegetables. That's it.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. So once we're done with that, we can have our Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
All right, so 2 days later, we got our ham. I was wrong, David was right. He shouldn't have cut so deep. So this is what it looks like after brining for 2 days. It's a little bit darker with the color. So now what we have to do is move the ham from this to the pan and let it simmer for 3 hours.
Simmer for 3 hours.
Yeah, we're making pretty much like a stock.
Okay,
All right,
let's start it.
can you open this up so I'll put the ham in there?
Yes. Here you are.
Just right.
I'm just gonna put it right next to it so
Okay.
it's not gonna drip.
There we go. So for this, we're just gonna add in probably about half or a quarter of the carrots, onions, and leeks. I chopped all this up earlier. That way it made everything a lot easier. Just use your hands and kind of scoops them out.
Okay.
Your hands are clean, right?
Yes, I hope so.
Grab some carrots.
A lot of carrots.
Because we're gonna save the other half to kind of like roast with it. You're supposed to add all of this into the stock from the recipe that I read, but I was like, that'd be a waste if we're just gonna like drain it out and use the stock later, right? Because we're roasting it, well, we're simmering it for 3 hours in here, and the carrots are gonna get really mushy.
Yeah.
So I figured, why not just use half of it in here, even though, because we have a smaller one than what the recipe called for anyway,
Yeah.
and then roast the other half in there with the ham.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go rinse my hands real quick. Can you fill that up with water until the ham is covered?
Okay. Got it. Good?
Yeah.
All right.
Just adding in some pepper. This one called for a cinnamon stick, but we don't have cinnamon sticks, so I just put in ground cinnamon. It'll work. And no, it did not call for star anise, but I have a problem with star anise, so we're just gonna drop in a few. Nutmeg, pepper, cinnamon. Oh, and a little bit of cloves.
Just so you guys know, today she's not having her computer with her.
I took a photo of it and then I kind of read through it and I was like, okay, I get the process. It didn't call for any Knorr powder, but I'm adding it in anyway. Because this is gonna turn into a stock as it is.
So Knorr powder is broth mix.
No, it also didn't call for fish sauce, but once again, just a tad. Here you go. You want to stir it up before I start boiling it? I'll double check the recipe. So bring this to a boil first, then let it simmer for 3 hours and skim the scum.
Sounds like a waiting game to me.
I told you.
2 days first, and then 3 hours for the simmering process. And then after that, how long would it take for the grill?
Maybe another hour.
I'm not hungry again.
I know what you mean.
We haven't had lunch yet.
There's more rolls in the fridge.
I made extra rolls yesterday, and it turns out I did ask you to over knead it.
So, waiting it is now, right?
Yep, just
Okay.
the waiting game.
Then we'll see you in 3 hours.
So we've been waiting for a very long time for this ham.
Finally. 3 hours of torture.
It's because it's a big dinner, you know? All right, so before I put the ham in, I'm just gonna drop in some of the vegetables. That way they can cook with the ham.
Smells really, really good, the meat. Thanks. She knows I'm hungry.
And we're not gonna throw out this stock because now it is kind of like a vegetable stock, so we're just gonna keep it for soups later on. There we go. And we're gonna use some of the stock for the gravy later on. Go ahead and put it down. Okay. The next thing that we're gonna work on after I get the ham ready is the glaze. So we're gonna use a honey glaze. I don't have any Dijon mustard or apple cider vinegar. They just didn't have those at the market. So we're just gonna add in honey, brown sugar, and then a few other spices in order to give this the saltiness and depth of flavor that I usually associate with ham.
Can I have a bite?
Yeah, go for it.
Just gonna take that piece on the side here.
Remember, we braised this for 2 days.
Too hot. But it is so good. So soft.
Oh, here's a good chunk of meat.
Hey Maddie, it doesn't taste very sweet nor salty, but I think all of the fiber of the meat itself is so soft and tender. Like it melts in your mouth.
Good. Well, now we're gonna add in the extra flavor to it by basting it in the glaze.
Yeah.
And that's also gonna add in the saltiness too, because I know right now it's kind of like plain.
Right. And what are we gonna do with the broth?
Save it for soup, and I'm gonna use a little bit actually in the gravy, because we gotta have gravy for the potatoes.
Yes.
Making mashed potatoes this time around is actually gonna be pretty difficult because we don't actually have a potato masher. So who wants to mash the potatoes?
I can do it.
So for the glaze, we need 1 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of honey, soy sauce, is some salt to add in the extra, and then I'm gonna throw in some ground cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, and cloves. This is just a personal preference of like roasting the cloves a minute to let it bring out all that extra flavor.
What is it?
Chopsticks.
Chopsticks. Anything else?
No, I brought all the spoons I need over here.
All right. First time seeing somebody like stir frying some cloves, cinnamon powder,
And nutmeg.
and then nutmeg. The only thing that I would throw in a hot pan with some cooking oil is chopped stuff like shallots, garlic, lemongrass, and ginger. Nothing else from those 4.
Well, I'm doing this to help bring out the aroma and then the flavor as well. It also adds an extra depth when you cook it just a little bit before the other ingredients. It calls for a whole cup of brown sugar, and this looks like it's about a whole cup, maybe even less.
And later we're gonna pour in the honey as well.
Yeah. So I think that'll be plenty of sugar actually.
Yeah.
This is one of actually my favorite ways to make ham, aside from the apricot jam one. My grandpa can do that one so well. We always love the apricot jam, but here we don't have any apricot jam, so. Give it a smell. You like the honey?
Yeah, but I started smelling a little bit of a burn.
Okay, and we'll take it off. Blow on it first, it's really hot sugar.
Sweet.
Yeah, sweet. Okay. We'll live with this. We'll have enough salt in our other dishes anyway.
Okay.
And then we'll also have the gravy as well.
Sounds good. Whoa, look at that.
You're supposed to brush it on, but we don't have that brush like we said.
No. Do you need any help here?
No, I'm almost done. I'm just, you can watch. Let's throw this in the oven, and then every, I'd say about 30 minutes, we're gonna keep putting this over the top.
Right.
So we need to start the potatoes and the green beans. Oil is right here. We just blew a fuse. You saw the flash in the kitchen though, right?
Yeah, something just happened. Hold on, okay?
I know.
I saw something over here actually. Oh,
What is it?
the problem is this, Maddie.
We just had a little hiccup with the electrical system in here.
Too many appliances plugged into the same outlet.
Hey Maddie,
What?
do you like this setup?
Yeah.
I like this little adjustable island. It's a great idea, you know?
Yes, it was. I'll admit it.
We're just gonna cook in there in our kitchen regularly and normally. So this desk or this table or this island, whatever you want to call it, can be used as a standing working desk. And when it's lowered down, it can be used as a dining table at the same level of the other one.
Yeah.
Or even lower than that.
Exactly.
Not yet.
One problem that I had before was when I was making mashed potatoes with my cousin when I went home. Because we bought a big 5-pound bag of potatoes.
Yeah.
We lost a significant amount of potatoes because we cooked them for too long. So that's why I'm watching it more to see, make sure we don't lose them. Oop. 5-second rule.
It's 6. It's no longer 5.
Can you give me a spoon over there? Okay.
It is clean.
Excuse me?
When I was still working in a kitchen, 2 kitchens actually, in Canada, if somebody was moving behind me, that person had to say, move!
Okay, move!
Nah, just kidding. We could say, hot water! And everybody moves or scoots over. Move!
Just cut up the eggplant and then we'll toss it in with the ham and then should be good once the eggplant's cooked.
Right.
There you go.
Like this.
Yep, that's it. And then I'll toss it in with the ham. And take it out. And just throw in the eggplants by themselves.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Everywhere you go.
Squawk, squawk, squawk.
Fight me. Good. Sure, and then rest for corn.
I'm not used to using butter, you know?
I know.
Cooking oil my entire life.
I know.
We're basically in a little bit of a sprint here, guys. Everything is finally coming to an end. So Maddie, tell me, how many more minutes that we have to stay in here?
No more. We're done.
We're done?
Yeah, I mean, once the corn is heated, yeah.
Okay, hand me a little bowl, please. Most desired and expected moment finally comes. Thank you, babe.
You were the helper.
First Christmas dinner together.
Yeah. It's amazing. 8 years and this is the first one
Yeah,
that we actually made together.
everything looks absolutely delicious, especially this. Let's go, let's dig in. Cheers first.
At first, I thought these bread rolls were small, but they're actually kind of big.
Mm.
And this pulls apart perfectly. Look at that. Tell me how it is really.
Some of the sugar, brown sugar, is still there. So immediately, the sweetness is the first taste that I got.
I see. Okay. Just work your way through the bread roll.
Like I said, I haven't had lunch, Maddie,
I know.
right? I don't know if you had anything.
We just ate the rolls that I made before.
Good.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yep. That's it.
Man, look at this.
I'm gonna taste some of the meat.
Yummy. Next time, I think we just have to go a little easier on the sugar and honey, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, be careful. Don't eat the cloves. I just ate a whole clove.
Why not?
I guess you can if you really want to.
I thought this whole thing was gonna take a long time.
This is why you cook it in separate batches.
Right.
I told you.
And you gotta like think about it or plan everything to a T, that way you can save a lot of time, right?
Exactly.
I think it's more about the waiting.
It was like 3 hours for the ham
Yeah.
to go. I'm like, geez, Louise.
And originally you planned on making 7 dishes, right? 1 for pie, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, the gravy is just part of the
Potatoes.
potatoes. Okay. We're not sitting in a candle-lit environment because we don't have any candles to light. But let's just assume that we have all of the LED lights as candles.
Okay.
It's still romantic enough, right?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Thank you, Betsy.
Thanks for helping. This would have taken forever. And I think I would have given up halfway through with the dishes. Now I see why you need like the Dijon mustard and the apple cider vinegar, because I think it would have cut through the sweetness well enough. But since we didn't have that,
For Christmas, after eating, after hanging out in the household with your family and your relatives, what else will you do?
eat all day.
And that's it?
Yep.
Eat and drink,
talk.
and chat?
Yeah. That's really it.
I see. A lot of Vietnamese people adopted the celebration of Christmas. And what they do is that they hang out. They're just gonna go to some public places where everything is fully and colorfully decorated. Take photos together and then eat out and that's it, right? Somewhere that would give them the Christmas vibe, and that's about it. Nothing like what we are doing here. All right, guys, this is it. This is the end of our Christmas decoration, home makeover, and home cooking. Merry Christmas to all of you guys. Don't forget to continue watching our videos in the future, and 2025 is going to be another year with a lot of content filled on our channel.
It's going to be a really great year and a lot of interesting things to come.
See you guys in the next video. Merry Christmas!